Hi there, Maureen from Color Me Positive PLR, and I'm going to show you how I've been playing with Dai's newest creations, Photoshop layer templates, patterns, and images, and oh my god, I'm loving them. I'm spending way too much time doing this though, but I thought I would do a tutorial for you to show you how you can use these. Now I use Photoshop, so I'll be doing it in Photoshop. If you have Affinity, you can also use it in there, or any program where the program will open a PSD file, a Photoshop file. And it's so much fun to play with, and you're going to be able to do so much with this. First thing I do is I want to gather up the colors I want to use, okay, because we're going to be changing colors here, and I'll show you just what I've done here. So I've got this palette and this palette, okay, and I'm going to change this and this. Okay, these are really pretty. I absolutely love this set. But I'm going to want to give it a little bit more of an autumn feel because we're not quite in spring yet. This reminds me more of spring or Easter. So I'm going to show you how I get to this, okay, using those two things. So what you want to do first is pick your colors. So I come to coolors.co. It's an awesome thing. That's COOLORS.co. Okay, and you're going to come up with this screen. Now you can go here to explore. These are already done for you kind of color palettes that you might like to look at if you don't like playing with the colors. I prefer playing with the colors and coming up with my own. This might be a nice one to actually choose for fall, right? Or if you want a brighter fall color scheme. There's so many. Like, you could just go through this day after day from start to finish, morning till evening. But I'm going to go show you how I normally use it. Okay, so we'll go back to the front page, and I want to make a palette. And this is a lot of fun to work with too. Now you're going to get a lot of these pop-up ads, but you know what? It's worth it because this is free to use. So here you have these colors. I actually really like those. Now, if you want to do an ever-changing thing, see up here it says press the space bar to generate color palettes. So just hit your space bar and it'll come up with colors. Oh, that's really nice. This one for maybe a summer package, right? Summer colors. I like that. So you keep doing that till you come up with something that you want to use. Now I'm not going to save any of these because I've already done it. I've already chosen my colors, so I'm going to work with those, but I'll show you how to save them. All right, so you could just keep doing that forever. Okay, so what you want to do here is come to Export Palette, right? So you can copy the URL if you want. You can create a PDF, an image, all these choices, right? I want an image because what I normally do, I'll show you. Just say test. I do hex colors, and then I want to export it. I can save it. Oops, why has an error occurred? Export. There we go. So now I can either save it as a PNG or I can open it with Photoshop, which I normally do when I'm working with this type of thing, the palette. So it'll open up in here, okay? And I'll show you what to do with that later. So you can either save this or open it in Photoshop, right? Or whatever program you're using. Okay? And then you can go back and just do that as many times as you like. You can hit the space bar, come up with different things. And when you hover over these things, what you can do is you can view the shades. So say you really want to use a purple, but you don't want quite as dark a shade as that. So you just click on it and it brings that up for you. Okay. You can also move them. So what I normally do, I like to go from lighter to darker. Some people like darkest to lightest. Totally up to you. It's just easy. You can drag them like that. You hold on to that arrow. You can save it to your favorites. That's the shades. You can copy, right? So you can copy the hex color, which is really handy if you want to come into Photoshop and you're looking for a color, right? So we'll copy it in here. And there's your shade, right? So you'll be able to use that right away if you like. And you can lock this so you can't change it, right? So, whoops, sorry. Okay, it'll lock the color, right? Now, you can create a palette from a photo, which is really cool. Okay, so you can upload an image that you have that you love the colors, upload it. You can load it in from a URL from your camera, or you can search, which I love. Okay, so see, it brings up all these images. Now, say you want to do summer colors. I'm just going to put that in. Okay, so now you're getting all these awesome summer pictures. And you could choose one to bring up the colors in them. So that's going to import here, right? And see what it does? It shows you all the colors that are in this image. You can add more, like there's more colors. So you hit add, it will bring up pretty much everything in there. Okay? So I'm just going to get rid of that. And if you want to, see, I want more of this pinky thing, so I'm going to click on this, so that's the color it will change, and see, it brings you here. Now I want this color, and see what it does? It'll change it down there, and you can change this color to, let's see, maybe a little bit of red. I like that. Let's change the blue to this mint green. And the purple, maybe want like a kind of white. And this one I don't want at all. I only want 4 colors. So there you have it. Now I have my 4 colors. Then you're going to come up here and go to next. You can open in the generator. You can view the palette. You can export it right away. You can save the palette, create a collage. So I want to export it. I'm going to export it as an image. Let's type summer and then export. And again, I'm just going to open it in Photoshop. And there you have your color palette. And what I do with these, with the color palettes themselves, I'm just going to close this out. So, okay, so say I'm working on this, okay, this PSD file. And I want to do my colors here. So what I do is once I've opened them in Photoshop, they show up here. So I just hold it down, drag it over to the file I want to work on, and drop it in there. And then I can make it as small as I want, right? Because all I'm going to do is color pick right from there. So I'll use the color picker to go through and pick the colors I want to use. And I just leave that there and delete it once I'm done. Okay, well, I just showed you how to pull that in so you could just pick your colors like that. An even easier way to do this is once you have these things here, what you can do is put them in your swatches. Okay, so if you don't have that window up, you can go to Window, click down here and go to Swatches. And there you have your swatches, okay? So what you can do then is click on each color and see how it's added those colors to your swatches, because this top layer is your most recently used colors. And I'm going to add the bird ones as well. There we go. So I think the top holds about 12 or 13 colors in it, so your most recent colors. And then you can just close these out because you have them in here. And you can also save your swatches for later if you want to save them to use them for something else. Okay, so you just click on that, you would save them. So I'm just going to get rid of these. Okay, and I don't need this guy on here anymore, so I'm just going to delete that. And then I can start working on the bird. Now, if you see here, there's so many layers, right? So the way to figure out what they are is to click on the eye buttons here and just click it off and you'll see. See how the leg disappears down here? So you know if you're on that layer, you'll be working with that. Okay? So let's say I want to change the color of this. So I'm on this layer. I come up here to my magic wand tool, click there, and then go up to select inverse, right? Now once I'm there, I want to make sure the color here is what I want to be using for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this color and I use Alt backspace and that will fill it in for you. Okay, then you want to deselect and work on your next one. Okay, so you can use your move tool to choose your layers, okay, if you like. So I'm on that layer now, and if you use the eye, you can tell because it will disappear. So I'm going to click on my magic wand tool, go to select inverse, and then I'm going to choose a color I want to use. I'm going to use this one. Go to Alt backspace, right? And I don't like that color, so I'm going to choose, let's see, a darker one, and then do Alt backspace again. Okay, so it will do that. Now, this up here, the thing is, once you use one, it moves it around, okay, because it'll be your most recently used color. Okay, so next I want to do, we could do the beak, and I think I'll do it in the same color as the legs. So you're going to come up here with your magic wand tool, click, and then select inverse, Alt backspace. Okay, so this can go pretty fast if you've already got your colors picked out, right? And then you just have to go and you have them all set up here. Then you just go up and down. Now these ones, okay, that's the beak. Then up here, you can't really see it, but it's these here. So I'm going to, I think I'll keep the same color, or maybe use a little bit lighter color. Then I'm going to go to my select tool, click, select inverse, Alt backspace. Oops, what happened? That did not work. Oh, because I'm still on the beak. Okay. So again, make sure you're on the right layer. Okay. Click, select inverse, Alt backspace. Right. And the next layer is that. But I want to work on the body first. So I'm going to go to my move tool and I'm going to click on the body and choose that. Then I'm going to choose, well, I can do the select inverse, and then choose a color, and I think I want this one. So I'm going to do Alt backspace, and there's the body of my bird colored in. Right? So you just keep doing this until you have it the way you like. And if you decide you want to change the color of something, you just need to go back to the layer, so you can go to your move tool to choose it and say I want to make this foot a little bit lighter than the front one. And I'm going to click on my select tool, do select inverse again, and let's click on that. and then do that. I'm not liking it. Let's try this one. There we go. I want it a little bit lighter so you can see it in the back. So you keep doing this until you're satisfied with your picture. Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because this would take you, you'll be sitting here for like 45 minutes. Okay, so what I ended up with was this after using all the colors here that I've chosen in my swatches. So I ended up with this instead of, where'd my bird go? Yeah. So I was working on the actual one, so I'm going to revert this. That's another thing I do is when you first open it, so this is the original PSD file, I'll go to Image and come down to Duplicate, okay? So that I'm not actually working on the original, okay? So this is the original, and this is what I ended up with when I chose my colors. Okay, which is just awesome. I mean, it's really incredible. Let me see if I can step this backwards. No, because I saved it. Excuse me. Okay, so it's the same idea for the actual pattern as well. Okay, that I ended up with this in the pattern. So it's the same idea. You just need to choose your colors beforehand, right? So this is the background. So I want the background to be, let's choose that. Okay. And the background you don't have to select because it's a full background. So just do Alt backspace and that will give you a color. And then you just keep going. Same idea, right? It's like just keep using the colors you've chosen, or if you want new ones, go for new ones. Totally up to you. Now this layer is this, so I'm going to need to do the magic wand, click inside, select inverse, and then Alt backspace to change the color, right? So keep doing that until you're satisfied with the pattern. Now this way you can actually come up with, 100 patterns with this same pattern just by using different colors. So that's often a really good thing if you're making paper packs to sell, because you can then just create, say a 20 pack of just this pattern, but all in different colors, right? And people often like that because they want to do, a different color for each page. Say it's for a boy or something, they'll do it in blues, and the girl will do it in pinks. Christmas, they'll do it in red and green, So you can actually make some really cool paper packs really easily with these. Okay. So anyway, yeah, you keep doing it with that, like that. And this is what I ended up coming up with. Okay, I'm just going to close that out. Right? So I just took the bird, put it on top of the pattern, and then I added a shadow, right, by double clicking on the bird, right, and it just adds a shadow to it, so you can play with that. You can add a stroke if you want, depending what kind of look you want for it. You can do tons of stuff once you've done this. And I just put it behind the pattern. Now this is just a rectangle, okay, that I created to make it like a frame, right? So you can do all sorts of things. To create that, you just need to go to your rectangle tool, and then let me pick that red color, the dark red. Okay. And make sure when you're using the shapes tool, that you add a layer by itself. Otherwise it takes on the characteristics of the layer you actually draw it on. So for this, I'm just going to zoom out a bit. I just came up here and covered this, okay, with that color. And then I came up to my rectangle, the marquee tool, and new rectangle, and figure I want it about this big. Right, drew this out. And then hit delete. Okay, and there you have your frame. It's very simple. You can you add a shadow if you like to make it pop out a bit, right? So then you'll see this up here, the shadow, and you can play with that to do what you would like to do with it. So I hope this helps and gives you some idea of what you can do with these amazing packs. And I believe you can actually create different things with the layered templates. Like this, like I could create this and then sell this as PLR or use it for my own personal use as PLR, like in, on Etsy or my own shop. So I think that is awesome, right? You couldn't sell the actual PSD files though. You would have to flatten this, like I would save this as a JPEG, flattened, and I would sell that so that people can use it as PLR for themselves, but they couldn't sell it on as PLR. All right. So if you have any questions, let me know. And I hope you see the value in these packs because these are really awesome. All right.